that he didn't ask allies, supporters to challenge various candidates. It was on their own.
Yes, it was on their own. I do not have to do that. Everyone knows this process. And anyone can challenge anybody. As you can see, you saw people literally dealing today. I've checked to people that was trying to knock someone off the ballot, but then they wanted to say conflict of interest. So saw that with your own well.
And I know yesterday you told us you felt like this whole process has been a machine of politics. Do you think that's continued today? I know you objected to an attorney representing someone. Do you feel like that's also on display with politics?
I think politics will always be on display as it relates to government because people play politics with the residents' minds and with their money.
And as it relates to last night's meeting, you've mentioned that Fulton Township is shutting down. Can you give a timeline, a deadline in terms of that, and how will that impact residents?
So when I mentioned that last night, I also stated that I'm waiting on legal to basically direct us on our options. As you know, I stated we are without insurance because 2 trustees did not show up to do their job, which is come and vote and make sure the people had the resources needed, which is insurance, so we can still operate. So what does that mean? People jobs are at stake. If we shut down, we got over 100-some employees. Where they gonna go? It's the holiday season. I do have a heart. That's why you still see us constantly operating, despite us not having insurance.
And when it comes to the government functions, I know you mentioned you're still figuring out the police chief with Dalton. Will he have a job tomorrow?
Currently, right now, I'm only speaking to Township, and as it relates to the electoral board. Any more questions? All right, so I'm gonna let Michael Smith come up and you can hear from him on the question you asked me about other people.
As it relates to being an objector, I am a duly qualified registered voter here in Thornton Township, a taxpayer, and as my objection says, I want to see that the process is followed legally. That's why I submitted objections. I submit objections every election cycle. This is not the first time, but to throw a punch at the supervisor, I find very critical or funny. Napoleon Harris as well has filed objections as well against these candidates and used people to do it on his behalf, as well as Christopher Clark, who's also a candidate for supervisor. I don't know who's feeding the media the information, but let's just put it all out there. They have put individuals out to challenge candidates. The supervisor at no point asked me to put forth a challenge. I did my due diligence. I requested every person that submitted their nomination papers for whatever office they were seeking. I got them. I did my due diligence in looking through each nomination paper, and I filed my objection. As stated before.
I've been doing challenges in Illinois for many years. It's a part of the process. When you run for office, it tells you in the candidate's guide you should seek legal advice. So when people make major flaws on their paperwork, that's their mistake, not ours. If this was an NFL game, since we referred to Napoleon, if this was an NFL game and it was only 2 seconds left, you call a timeout, you're on the 50-yard line, but you got a kicker that can kick and win that game from you from that distance, that's what you do. It's part of the process. So I think there's a lot more pressing issues than this process, especially at Thornton Township. We've had people put out misinformation on social media stating that they've called in to do it wasn't a phone poll. How was it worded? No, they called it something else, a consent to vote for insurance. We passed out information yesterday to all the news stations that showed the emails from the attorneys, which specifically said that you cannot do it, it's illegal, you must be in person. None of the news stations aired that. And we gave the actual emails that came from the laws that represent the township. So the misinformation is being put out. I think that's some of the things that we're trying to focus on.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Take care.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Did you have a question for me, sir?
Yeah, we'd like to talk to you next year.
Thank you. How you guys doing today?
Doing well, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty
You can
good.
just start with first and last name and what you're running for.
My name is Nate Fields Jr. I'm running for Thornton Township Supervisor.
And just kind of give us your thoughts on what happened today. I believe you were objected to, was it in 3 different positions?
Yes, I was objected to on three separate occasions. Might seem major to others, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. One of the objections were that I did not file my economic statement of interest, but I did file. I think the objectors missed it because the paperwork was at the back of my nomination papers instead of filed at the beginning like everyone else. So that's one thing that's going to end up getting thrown out. The other few are very minor.
Nick, why are you, tell us why you're running for supervisor.
Well, I know better, and when you know better, you do better. I've worked for Thornton Township for almost 15 years already.